Cool. Hey, welcome back to the Revival Podcast. Today we got Jairus out of the Kaysville office. So, right before jumping in, I wanted to just give a few shout outs because I know last month we had Ryan Baxter up in the Kaysville office. I think he was probably one of the first people you shadowed. He's just been killing it 190K, about 190K last month, which is amazing. And then Jordan just continues to kill it out in Phoenix, which is awesome. And it's really good to have Ryan and Paul up in the Boise office. They just got there like last week. And so a lot of the offices have some interesting stuff going on. But huge shout out for Ryan being the top setter last month for sure.
Good job, man.
Yeah. You've been at Revival for just a couple months.
Just
right?
a couple months, yeah.
So, but you were shadowing Ryan
pretty early on.
Pretty early.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So, before jumping into like your experience getting into Revival and stuff, I kind of wanted to just get to know you a little bit more.
Sure.
How'd you grow up? Where'd you grow up? What was, your childhood like through, I guess, condensed story through, like, maybe I know you served in Texas. You shared that story with me in Mission and then working at Revival.
Yeah, it's actually pretty interesting. I grew up in a small town, Tremont. It's up in northern Utah. And my parents got a house pretty early on and then proceeded to raise 7 children. I'm the oldest of those children.
Okay.
So I have a lot of younger siblings, needless to say. So that's been an interesting experience that not everyone gets to have in their life. So they actually to this day still live in that house. Pretty small house. We've gotten kind of used to getting crammed in.
How old's the youngest?
Youngest is 4.
Okay.
As of right now.
Cool.
So there's an 18-year gap between her and me.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
Cool. So high school up in Tremont, is it just like a Tremont High?
So the high school up there is Bear River High. I did something a little bit different. We did a private school.
Okay.
Just called Kimber Academy. Kind of a remote private school. We did Zoom before it was cool.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
Yeah. No. No, we got pretty early on experience with Zoom.
Yeah.
The teacher, the founder, was remote, and we would just sit in on those calls, and he'd teach us. We'd get some get-togethers about once or twice a year, so we still got to meet our classmates in person.
Cool.
But really different than what a lot of people have experienced.
Yeah. Cool. And then you served a mission in Texas.
That's right.
Cool.
That's right.
El Paso, right?
El Paso. What's interesting is I was originally assigned to serve in Lubbock, Texas, but due to mission boundaries being rearranged, I just got absorbed by the newly formed El Paso mission.
Okay.
So grew to really love the Southwest. The food down there, the people are awesome.
Yeah.
But really, really interesting experience.
Cool. And then when did you get back?
I got back about late November.
Okay. So it hasn't been too long. What was your introduction to Revival like?
It was a whole thing. As soon as I got back, I really started to try to apply for jobs, and that was a slog. No one likes that.
How were you applying for jobs?
So I looked at Google Maps. I'm like, okay, I'm used to working in like the industrial side of the industry. Like, okay, let's try to focus on getting an industrial job. Takes no talent. You can get paid fairly well. I'm like, okay, easy way to save money. I'd done it before. And it didn't work out the way I thought it would. Didn't get the job. People put pauses on hiring and stuff like that. So I just had to deal with the fallout of a competitive job industry in that regard. And so I didn't really know what to do, and I talked to my aunt, and her daughter, my cousin, had gotten really successful doing window sales. I'm like, oh
yeah.
That's
Who
really
was that?
Interesting. Her name was Helen. She was with
another
Legacy.
Company.
Yeah.
Okay.
She was with another company. So she had quite a bit of success. And so had my uncle back in the day. And so that gave me some confidence. Originally, getting back, I was like, I want to stay away from sales. That doesn't look like something I want to do, knocking doors and doing that kind of work. But in a moment of humility, I was like, you know what? I'll bite. Let's see what happens.
Okay.
and where we can go from there. So I found on the Indeed job app, just while I was job searching, I found Revival. And I reached out and almost immediately got back to me. That was a good sign for me. And then hopped on a call. I think you were actually
I was
hosting
on
that
it.
call.
Yeah.
and kind of told us what was up. And then we started a few weeks later. So really
Okay.
cool experience.
Yeah, cool. Now, what attracted you to Revival going through that experience, from, initially not wanting to maybe get into sales to like
Mm-hmm.
feeling like, yeah, actually I feel confident maybe in Revival or this company, I'm going to give it a shot.
I realized how much potential I had as a salesman. I knew that my cousin and my uncle had so much success. And normally, a lot of people don't get those type of opportunities in their life. So it was empowering to me to see them succeed. And I realized I already had a lot of the skill sets and the experience from being a missionary. Talking with people, getting outside of the comfort zone. That's how the entire mission goes.
Yeah.
Is growing as a person and helping others, and just growing outside of that or expanding that comfort zone, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that was very instrumental to me starting that journey towards Revival.
Cool. And then what specifically about Revival like attracted you?
The opportunity to grow was the biggest
Okay.
thing, and progress. In corporate
So you kinda said
companies
that.
that I'd worked before, it's such a hard thing to do. It takes so much extra work to get to the top. And Revival gives you that pathway. It's quite clear, actually, what you need to do in order to eventually become a market owner.
Yeah, level up.
Level up. It's very, easy is not the right word, but it's simple. It's clear.
Yeah.
Whereas other jobs I've worked, you could be stuck at the bottom your entire time
Time.
there. Yeah, and there's no real opportunity to progress.
Okay. That's cool. Cool. So then, before we get into kind of your specific experience at Revival, I kind of wanted to ask a question that's like just to get to know you a little bit more too, and have other people like get to know you and see what makes you tick and how with the success you've had. But what I guess how do I ask this question? What experience? Maybe tell one experience you've had in the past or a story that has like defined who you are today. It could be before Revival, or it could be in your sales career, but an experience that has defined who you are.
Yeah. So this is going to be kind of a weird story that will diverge a little bit from the sales aspect, but for me it actually defined a turning point in the way I saw myself in this world. So when I worked at a fast food restaurant, I'd eat there consistently every single day. I started to realize, I'm gaining a lot of weight. I'm getting really chubby, and I didn't want to do that. I was like, what am I doing with myself?
Okay.
So that's when I actually, for the first time, really started a consistent workout regimen. And that changed me. It changed me as a person, and it changed the way I did things from now on, because I got more comfortable with going outside of my comfort zone. I grew familiar with putting in the work and seeing results.
Mm.
And it was that, and I lost a ton of weight, maybe a little too much, but I I eventually got to a point where I thought was going to be irreversible. And taking charge of my life is what got me to where I finally was a lot more comfortable with myself, and I did something that I could be proud of. So from that point on, whenever I recognized the feeling of slipping down into a place I didn't want to be, I knew that before I had gotten myself out, I finally had a precedent to say, look, I can do this. This isn't me. I can be the person I want to be. But that really changed who I was
Yeah,
and
that's
the way
cool.
I progressed from that point
What
on.
age was that?
I was about 17
Yeah.
when I decided, you know what? Screw
That's
this.
cool. Yeah, it's all about having stories like that you can go back to, so that when you do face another challenge, you can just think, even if it's unrelated, right? It's like unrelated to like your physical aspect the story you just shared, but you can say, oh, well, I didn't like where I was then, and I changed a few things and I got out of that spot. Well, here I am. I don't like where I'm at in another realm of my life. Well, if I did that one thing, I'm confident in myself. I can do this now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's exactly the type of attitude I have when it comes to facing challenges that it doesn't look like I can handle. It's like, well, I'm here now. I've done that before. This is familiar ground.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. So, so now that you're been working at Revival for a little bit, I want to know maybe people that you've worked with up at the Kaysville office. Who's somebody that's kind of impacted you at Revival, whether taught you sales skills or in another way?
Yeah, that's a really tough question because a lot of people at Revival have shaped me to be the person I am today. I'd say one of the most influential people is my market owner, Ben, up at Kaysville. He is just a special type of person where you feel his love for you, and of course he has high expectations, but he does it out of love. And it's really incredible to see the influence that he's had on my mindset. He's talked about doing so many specific exercises that I have never thought of doing before that have helped me keep a good mindset while I'm on the doors and while I'm doing this job. This job is very mindset focused, so
Yeah.
you find yourself sometimes slipping into some places that you don't want to be mentally.
Yeah.
Ben offered me the route out. He showed me the way out. And that has been one of the most impactful exercises that have helped me in this career.
Yes, just like when you were younger and you were in a spot you didn't like to be, and you started working out and you got out of that spot. Now, in this job, yeah, you can easily slip into a spot mentally that is not enjoyable to be in. You do not want to be there. And so, and just like, you got to have a regimen, like go to the gym and kind of get yourself out of that situation, you need to have like a pathway out of these mental spots that this job can get you in. So what did that path out look like? What did Ben teach you?
One of the coolest things that I always go back to whenever I'm finding myself struggling mentally to do the job is he calls them gratitude statements. And that's a kind of a sacred time that you have right before you knock the doors, where you just go through a list of things you're grateful for from the past, the present, and the future. And he told me to jumble them around, so it's like my brain couldn't discern what's the past, what's the present, and what's the future. I'm just grateful for everything. So when you actually find yourself on the doors, people get that subconscious message that this guy, he has a good life. He has it all, right? And it really helps to keep up your morale, especially when hard times start to creep in a little bit.
Yeah. So what are some example things on your list? Things you're grateful for, and things, even because, I've done that exercise with Ben as well. And I think of it like affirmations, because I'm still thinking of like, what do I want in the next couple years, and I'm thinking, and I'm telling myself I'm grateful for those things right now as if I have them currently.
Yes.
And when you mix it in with things of the present and the past, like your mind just thinks those things are already occurring. And you start manifesting those things in your life, doing it that way. But gratitude for sure is huge. What are some of those things on your list?
For me, I'm just so grateful for the people in my life. And that's something I consistently say is I would not be here without the strong influences in my life. I'm grateful for the friends that I can rely on. Everyone needs a good friend. I'm grateful for being raised in, a functional household, so I know what that looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes some of those grateful statements go outside of work.
Oh, yeah, for
But
sure. They should.
It's not yeah, exactly. It doesn't, the point is to put you in a good mindset and make you feel that you really do have a lot.
Yeah.
So you pretty much avoid becoming desperate on the doors.
Yeah. Because people don't want to. Initially, they open the door and there's a sales guy, and most people put up an immediate wall, right?
Yeah.
But they want to interact with somebody who's positive, who likes life, and if it's more about how the vibes you're giving off, the positivity, the confidence, than actually what you're saying. When it really comes down to it, like how good are you at getting people to put that wall down? And if you're good at getting that wall down, then you can get through your script and the pitch. But giving, that gratitude exercise and probably more that Ben's taught you will help you bring that wall down.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. We all project a subconscious message, and when people look at you, they receive part of that.
Yeah.
And you want to make sure that you're projecting confidence. You're projecting friendliness and the willingness to help.
Yeah. So that's honestly more important than learning the script and doing all the little things we teach you. Like,
absolutely.
That is the most important thing for setters to figure out with this job. And it is a cool experience doing this job because you get to deal with this every single day. Going out, doing like an uncomfortable job.
Definitely.
Your confidence can be shaken a couple times because you're just facing a lot of rejection. But you get to face that challenge every single day and like try to do these exercises to get more confident and grateful. And in other jobs, you don't experience it day to day. You still experience it.
Right.
Like in other jobs, you'll have a bad week or bad month, but it's just more over a long period of time. But with this job, it's like every hour you're facing and you're having to like overcome these demons,
Yeah.
and have to break down people's walls and give off good positive vibes, where in other jobs and just to be grateful all the time in other jobs, it's you still experience that, but it's over a longer time horizon. And so I'm so grateful for this job because that's taught me those exercises, and it's just ingrained in me now because I've just had so much practice with it. Because again, you're doing it every single day. With again, other jobs, you're just not doing it as frequent.
Exactly. I truly believe I'm a better person because of this job. And not just because of the benefits that it's brought me, I guess, monetarily, right?
Yeah.
But more of I am a changed individual in my mind. I think differently. I talk to people differently. I am more motivated and, of course, more disciplined, which, in my opinion, is more important than motivation. But because motivation, it's consistency, right? The discipline, consistency, motivation, it comes and goes, it rises and falls.
Yeah.
So, but we've probably all worked a few different jobs and felt how other jobs just aren't as rewarding. Worked in a factory, and I was alone in the corner of a room for 8 hours a day, just working on machines. And it was hard to have a good day at work because every day was the same. Mm-hmm. It was a good day if the machines didn't malfunction or something like that.
Yeah, that's a lot of jobs.
Yeah.
So that's cool. It's cool to hear you say that because I hope everyone feels that way about the job. That's how I feel about the job and getting people to do the job. Like I want people to come in to to change and like learn things about themselves and learn how to build a better life for themselves and be more grateful, because these are a lot of these things we just talked about, like the exercises, are things anyone can do. You don't have to do this job to do them, but so you can do these exercises in other jobs or in another life.
Right.
But this job, it's like crucial to do these exercises.
Definitely.
Because you almost can't survive with this job without like learning how to build these like mental, I'm going to call them like muscles, I guess, these mental muscles.
Yep.
And exercising, I'm going back to your first example of like losing weight, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what else did Ben, that's a really good exercise. Is there another exercise he taught you? Or I'm just curious if there's anything else, trying to pull any other ounces of knowledge.
Oh, he's done so many, it's hard to keep track. But what he has done is just ingrain that into the type of salesperson I am. So that was a big one, but he's so good at breaking down not what you say, but how you say it. The paraverbals, the movements, and the intentional pauses that you take to craft a more genuine pitch. He's really good at breaking that down and kind of sanding it and perfecting it.
Yeah.
So I definitely trust him with that.
Just training with them, just so you don't sound like super robotic on the doors and just.
Exactly.
That's great.
He's very good at knowing how to improve what you're doing.
Yeah.
And honestly, you have to be humble to take that because, like you said, this is a part of your job. And
Yeah.
you would do well to take critique and suggestions.
Yeah. Cool. All right, cool. And then something else I kind of thought I wanted to ask you was, when you just kind of jumped into knocking doors with us, you did that on the mission too, though, so you have some experience.
Definitely.
What do you do when you have a morning where you just like are feeling like high anxiety, don't want to knock on a door,
Yeah.
'Cause I mean, even me, I've been knocking doors for like 10 years now, and when I go on a blitz with you guys, I still get that feeling, and I have to like get past that.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do?
It mainly just stems from personal time. Sometimes I got to listen to a little bit of David Goggins, get me pumped.
Cool.
Sometimes it goes back to the gratitude statements where I just need to sit and meditate for a little bit. This was actually my mom. She gave me this exercise to do, and it's helped a lot. It was kind of shocking. The results I saw after doing this, I would sit, close my eyes, just breathe deeply, and imagine the type of life I want to have. And just imagine it. Imagine all the individual things. What kind of spouse do I want? What do I wake up to? What do I go home to? What does my workday look like? Just imagine all of those. Imagine getting that giant check, right?
Mm-hmm.
And internalize it. And you just feel so much more confident when you're ready to get there. You view the current state of your life as like the chapter that you're in. All you need to get is the next chapter.
Yeah.
You just need to get to that next chapter is essentially what it means. You're going to be looking back on yourself and be like, why did I even worry? There's nothing to worry about. That was just an off day. No worries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's another exercise that I've done often, like the visualization. Like, you just sit and it only takes 30 seconds, really.
Right.
You can do it quick. You can take longer, but like, it
Sure.
only takes 30 seconds to close your eyes and like imagine, what does my life look like a year or 2 or 3 or 5 years from now?
Exactly.
And it is powerful to really like imagine what it smells like, what it feels like, the emotions tied to that vision.
Yes.
Because the emotions are the most important part. And feeling, it's actually interesting, like your mind doesn't know really the difference between feeling an emotion and actually like imagining the emotion. They've done like studies on people's brains or MRIs or whatever, and there's the exact same like chemical reactions or neurons in the brain when you feel the emotion and when you're imagining the emotion.
Yeah.
And so your brain
yeah.
can't tell the difference. And that's what that exercise does. You're actually imagining what it feels like to accomplish those things. And then your brain thinks you actually did.
Yeah.
And it brings that confidence up. It makes you feel good, like, hey, I'm going to go do it. And then you're just attracting those positive things into your life. So it's more likely that you do accomplish those things.
I've felt exactly what you're talking about. When I sit down and do that, I imagine them as memories rather than like a fantasy that hasn't happened.
Yeah, that's great. That's what I've always called them, actually. It's so funny you say that. Because I've told them, like, doing a vision is, what do I say? It's like a memory. Yeah, it's exactly that. It's a memory that hasn't occurred yet.
Exactly.
But it's a memory nonetheless.
It's a memory.
Like, it's something that's happened instead of a fantasy. You said that great.
Think of anticipation of going on a vacation. And you kind of think about what's going on there. It's like, oh, yeah, what kind of stuff are we going to do there? You're kind of making memories before you've even done it.
Yeah, and the anticipation, I mean, the anticipation for a vacation is almost better than the vacation sometimes for a lot of people. I mean, it's like Christmas. A lot of people will have this, I think jog their memory. Like when you think about Christmas, people love Christmas because of the anticipation. They have like great memories when they were a kid, and they love the magic of Santa Claus and all that. And then as they grow older, they still love Christmas, but they love the anticipation of Christmas almost more, or for sure more than the day itself. The music and everything leading up towards it, and then the day is over real quick. But we build so much hype, months of hype for one day, and it's great. I love Christmas.
Right.
But it's the remembering those memory and the anticipation for the day, and then for a vacation, I think it's the same thing.
Yep.
And it's the exact same principle for visualizing. You're just imagining, anticipating the day where it's already done. Like the vacation is already happening. You've bought the tickets.
Yeah.
You're going.
No, and that's the thing.
Yeah.
That's the difference. Is like, no, you're doing it.
It's doing it. Yeah. It's gonna happen. It's just like, okay, the anticipation and the journey to get there.
Mm-hmm. My best memories of Christmas are actually on Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
And Christmas parties that happened before actually Christmas. And so that's really interesting you say that. And it gets you in that mindset of joy and happiness and excitement and the magic of it, right?
Yeah.
So that's definitely a great analogy for the type of stuff we're talking about.
Yeah. So it's cool. I've done the visualization a lot throughout my life, and it is cool. At times I've felt like a prophet.
Yeah.
Because I can predict my life. If I think about something 2 years from now, like that's what I want, especially if I'm prayerful about it, I feel like God wants me there in 2 years, then if I think about that thing and I work towards that thing every single day for 2 years, there's no way I don't accomplish it.
Exactly.
That's my attitude. It's it's happening.
I've already done it. You just have to get there.
You just have to get there. Yeah. So visualization is huge. I think those two exercises you just listed off are huge. The gratitude list and visualization. I hope all of our reps are doing those exercises regularly. It's obviously helped you.
It has. It's so easy to give up, especially when it gets hard. But you're stemming yourself from getting that reward. And you don't grow when you give up.
Yeah.
You should really try to do something hard every single day that stretches your comfort zone just a little bit more. So then you're prepared to take on those challenges.
Yeah. Cool. Well, I think that was good. I mean, I don't know how we wrap these things up, but that was really I enjoyed talking to you, Jairus, and hope everyone gets to listen to this podcast. A lot of good stuff, I think, that a lot of people could use. So I hope everyone listens to this, and we'll see you guys on the other side. Have a great day.
Thanks, James.
Yep, you too.